You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Snap, the kick, it's been blocked again! Oh my! It's been blocked again! He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyreek Cleveland! Oh my! I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw, pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's over! He comes back, say goodbye. Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out a winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your boy Corey.
It's Dan.
And Del Torre.
Same corner, same time. Not the same time. We're a little earlier than usual, but we got a special guest. Before we get into that, how was y'all weekend? How's everything going?
Good. Didn't do much. Cooked some sourdough yesterday.
Oh.
Otherwise, ran from
Back in
errands.
the lab, man. You got two labs now.
Buddy, I get high def cross sections of the sourdough now.
I mean, now let's be clear. It's mainly Sarah, but you know, good chef is great because of just them. There's the sous chefs, the encouragement.
For sure.
The people that help clean up after. That's my role.
Who was Ratatouille's sous chef? Nobody knows the sous chef.
You know what? It's a thankless job, Nick. Somebody's got to do it. You know, I'm not looking for praise and admiration. Mm-hmm. Just looking for a little bread.
Pun intended.
But man, it was relaxing. I mean, it was a good, relaxing weekend. We've got a Noah's Ark worth of a storm coming through right now.
Yeah, it's ugly out here. Lord. So it's sweeping across the whole state. You getting rain out there as well? Both of y'all getting rain?
Yeah. We had a tornado watch for most of the day here. Some crazy weather. This weekend,
cold front coming through though.
Yeah, this weekend we realized how lucky we are that my parents are here. Mom left. Frankie threw up on Friday.
Ooh,
nice.
As we were getting her ready to go to daycare, so that means no daycare. So I had 48 hours. You know, had a work thing. Had to be at the Players on Sunday, so had to. Sorry,
easy out.
Gosh. Have to go do some fundraising at the golf tournament. But yeah, super lucky to have Mom up here. We were in the trenches. Eight months pregnant, 19-month-old tomorrow. Tired.
I can imagine.
Party just started, man.
Cool. 202.
Yeah, wait till she started really like just climbing on things and just. Oh, everybody think 2 is bad. I think 3 is worse than 2. That's my take. That's my parent take. I think it's terrible 3s fits more than terrible 2s.
So people have said terrible 2s, and then you're in your like 3 teens. Like,
yeah.
Especially the girl parents I know, they're like, yeah, my teenage daughter. I'm like, oh, how old is she? Like 3. She's 13. We're at the point though where like she's arguing back with us.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
But she knows 20 words. So it's just like arguing, but like blabbing. And we're just like, no.
Man. Corey, how was your weekend?
It was pretty solid, man. You know, a little somber on my end. I had to go to a funeral in Jacksonville on Friday. Cousin, same age as me, passed away. A few kids. So, the family was down on this weekend, but I stepped out with the wife, had some dinner. I asked for some fish suggestions up in Jacksonville. End up going to New Berlin Fish House. Actually pretty fire. Had a grouper sandwich. My pops had I forget what dish he had. It was a fish. It was fire, but the food was great. So I didn't go to any of the suggestions, but if you are in Jacksonville, go check them out. But I was just chilling this weekend. Had a date night with the wife, just vibed out, just caught up on some things.
Good.
It's fire, bro.
New
I know you're not a Jacksonville guy.
Bar.
Yeah, it's pretty fire, man.
Well, next time I go up to Jacksonville, I'll make sure I swing by if it makes sense, of course. I do need to get up there for the players. I know, Nick, you were up there. You were talking about a low-key weekend, and you skipped right over a big golf tournament that you went to, the Pride of Jacksonville.
These were incredible tickets. Shout out to some of our corporate sponsors for hosting us on the chalet right on 17. And then it had a corner so you could see the 18T. Was kicking it with Gerald Chapman. Forgot to ask him. Bro, I forgot
what happened to him? Hey, show?
My bad. I completely forgot. You hey, Chap.
You got my text on red. You just leave me on red. I don't like that. But let me ask you a quick question, golf question. So, how does seats work?
So there aren't seats. Like you kind of just go and you sit. Some tournaments, like the Masters, you can just like plop a chair down.
Yeah, like a foldable chair.
What kind of chair? It's like a foldable chair, but you can't have arms. You can just plop a chair down and people have their names on them. Mm-hmm. And then that's your seat. You can sit there whenever you want. You can get up, you leave your seat. People don't touch it. People will sit.
But you're assigned to a hole?
No, you can go to the whole tournament. You can put your seat down if you have a foldable chair and sit anywhere. There are some holes that will have like bleachers. The waste management, hole 16 is very famous for that. A lot of these bigger tournaments will have one or two holes where they'll have bleachers around. Usually, definitely on hole 18, sometimes hole on 17. So like at the Players, they have seats all around to be able to watch. Now, those are usually extra costs, but everybody else usually that you see sitting in a folding chair, they'll either bring their own chair or some tournaments require you to rent a chair from the tournament, but you can walk around the whole thing.
Okay, quick little vibes check. Go ahead, man.
Some people like follow a golfer or follow a group. Like it's very like when Tiger was popular, swarms of people would just follow Tiger around the course. Yeah. Some people are just like, hey, I like 17 at TPC is an iconic hole. Mm-hmm. Some people are just like, hey, I'm just going to sit at 17 and every single golfer will come through today.
Yeah. I like that approach.
Bunch of ways to watch.
I mean, if it's Tiger,
there's two ways. One sedentary where you kind of see every golfer come through, and one is like, hey, I want to watch the leaders and just follow the leaders, because the way that a golf tournament is set up is on the final day, the top two people, sometimes top three, that are at the top of the leaderboard after day 3 will all play together on day 4, and you can watch that. So if you're sitting in a seat, you get to view every golfer, but you might miss you're going to definitely miss some of the other action throughout the day. So it really is just a viewing experience, but being there on 17 and watching that, it would probably be an incredible experience. Watching hole 18 of the Masters would be incredible, but the Masters doesn't have the grandstand on 18,
right?
Or if they do, it's a small one. But everybody else is just kind of huddled around. It's actually a really cool sight because there's no phones allowed at Augusta, so everybody's actually like in the moment watching, taking visual pictures instead of
Augusta
you gotta bring your metas. That's all.
No, they're not gonna let you do that.
What are they gonna do? My seeing eyeglasses.
No, they'll let you.
This is a handicap friendly environment. Like what's going on?
I don't know if they'll let you bring the metas.
I wonder if
look at me trying to content create and kill the vibes of the Masters or Augusta or something. How does it work? So if you want to buy a drink, so you can stop the cart and get you a little drink,
you're walking the whole time. There's beverage stations everywhere.
Okay.
Probably every 2-3 holes at least at a minimum. There's actually a tournament here in Palm Harbor this weekend called the Valspar, and there's probably 30 different places that you can buy drinks, and they're sometimes thematic to a certain drink that the golf course is offering as a special drink, or they're different sponsors or whatever, but there's food and drink, and so it really just depends on how you want to do it. When I go, there's to the Valspar, there's like one area where you can see the green of one hole, one guy teeing off, on the hole directly beyond it. And then on the other side is like 4 holes later, but you can see them teeing off too. So you just kind of do this little triangulation thing, but it's all really a matter of how you want to watch.
Yeah. Not hard to get drinks. Not hard to get drinks. Like TPC does, they have a wine bar on 9. They call it Wine on 9. And you kind of walk up a couple of flights of stairs, like a little turn. And then it's a bar, some inside seating, and then bleachers that kind of go down. You sit over the green on 9. I think 9's a par 3. So you're watching guys. You can see them tee off in the distance, and you're sitting right above the green, sipping wine in the shade.
Oh, yeah. That's my ambiance right there. I got a friend of mine that invites me. I say friend very
Cigars. Very socially acceptable. You have a cigar out on the golf course, watching what? Yeah. Going to a golf tournament's a vibe.
Golfing's a vibe, so I can only imagine. But I got a friend of mine that invites me to like the PGA every year, and I just be like, "Nah, I'm straight, bro."
You should go sometime. It's a really cool experience.
It's always in the middle of the week or something when he invites me, though. That's why I like turn it down like every time.
They do. They practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice rounds, and then the tournament starts Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. Friday,
yeah, it's
Saturday,
just like Thursday or Friday when he's like, "Hey, I got some extra tickets," but
I'm
gonna check it out next time.
That might be a better time to go. I mean, you're not gonna miss. You're gonna miss the last day. But it's usually a little less crowded on Thursday and Friday than it is on Saturday and Sunday because those drink lines can get long. The crowds.
I don't need that.
Can be huge, right? So, I mean, when I went to Augusta, I mean, you guys know I went on you don't probably remember. I went on a Wednesday, and that was just an unbelievable experience because it's like half the crowd that you would normally have, during the week. So. But definitely check it out. That's a very hard and expensive ticket to get. So if you can get an opportunity to go, you should go.
Oh, for sure. I did not even know that. Okay.
It is the PGA's flagship event.
Okay.
So just like we're the flagship podcast of Florida Gator football. With that, we got a big show today. We want to talk about spring practice. They're on break this week. They're on spring break this week. So probably light news about that next week, but we're also going to welcome the host of from 247. He works, on On3, formerly 247, also has some connection with ESPN, Josh Pate, to the show today. We're super excited to welcome him. And then Neil Blackmon from Florida Basketball Hour will come on a little bit later and talk a little bit about the Florida Gators basketball team, which is, I believe, the 10th or 11th time in the last 26 years that a team has gone back-to-back number 1 seed. So they're going to be playing here in beautiful Tampa, Florida on Friday night, late tip. But the Gators will play the winner of Lehigh Valley or Prairie View A&M. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we do that, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Corey, go ahead, and then we'll get on with the show.
Stadium and Gale is powered by the great folks at Brun Insurance and Financial Services. Anything you need insured from the Panhandle to the Keys, my man Greg can definitely save you some money. So visit him at bruninsurance.com or give him a call at 954-589-2204 for home, auto, bike, trailer, boats, your life. Again, bruninsurance.com or 954-589-2204.
And one time for our friends over at the Dykes, Burke, and Lewis Law Group, if you are looking for an attorney or a group of attorneys that used to work for the insurance companies and now will work to protect you with anything related to property insurance, pipe damage, water damage, wind, hail damage, hurricanes, sinkholes, whatever that might be, give them a call at 855-652-1377. Again, that's the Dykes, Burke, and Lewis Law Group, 855-652-1377, or you can visit them at dykesburkelaw.com. All right, Nick, another 3 practices under the belt. We are in pads and we are ready to rock and roll. I think everybody's wondering a little bit about the quarterback room and what's transpired over the last week there. We've seen some clips online floating around, but you've been at each and every practice, Nick, so kind of give us a little bit of the breakdown about what's going on.
Yeah, I think I was just talking with somebody about it at practice. I think and I won't spend too much time on them, just know that I'm very impressed with both the running backs room and the receivers room. I know you lost a couple of running backs, but you get Duke back. You get two in. I think Evan Pryor and Duke Clark have like home run speed. Obviously, Jaden Baugh. Sometimes in my notes, like Jaden Baugh is kind of getting that senior treatment that we've talked about. Like now that they're in full pads, they did a full one of their team run. One of their team, well, yeah, but one of their team run sections was like, hey, full tackle. Like normally in spring, you're like, hey, just thud, don't go to the ground. It was either, I think it was actually two team run periods. Was straight, you're just playing football, and like Jaden Ball is nowhere to be seen in that. It's like, hey, buddy, got you 1,000 yards. We're good. We know what we got. Let's not tackle you. And then receiver. The last practice Thursday, I remember I told you guys, I was like, hey, they're kind of the transfers are having to earn it. And I'm over here looking like, why is so-and-so on the second field? Eric Singleton's no longer on the second field.
Good.
I think it was the first time I saw him kind of like really open it up and run and was like, okay, this kid's a stud. Singleton looked great Thursday. One guy that's flying under the radar, I think Micah Mays from Wake Forest.
From the 561. Most important.
I saw you tweet. I was about to retweet you, and then you had 661 when I saw it.
Yeah, I had to edit it. I cleaned it up, man. Somebody texted me like, hey, bro, you holding us down in the wrong way, man.
I literally Googled.
Can't get area codes wrong, man. What the hell?
I literally Googled, where's 661? I'm like, Stockton, California. I'm like, who on the team's from Stockton? I was like, Bailey? I was like, what a twist. What a twist.
What a pull.
No, that kid's he's a great athlete, man. He's gonna be. I just thought they had bad quarterback play at Wake Forest. And for what I know from him pedigree wise, what I heard from him just track and field wise, and you can see it. You know, I watched him play against Florida State last year, and he was jumping out on the screen. So you know, had high expectations, man. I think he's gonna challenge for a starting spot, like I said from the beginning.
It'll be interesting because I think the starters will be those three. I think it'll be VB, Dallas, Eric, but like I think you're going to rotate. You've got a bunch of guys. Bailey Stockton's having a really good camp.
Nick, I've got a question. I've got a question, and because you just mentioned his name, Dallas Wilson is wearing what does not look to me to be a boot that you would wear if you were going to play if it was a game week.
Why is he fully padded in a boot?
Yeah, why? Yeah, that too. Getting used to wearing the pads again. Maybe he's got to lose a little water weight. But is there concern that maybe he's not as fully healthy as maybe he's being led on, or?
I don't know. I don't know that he's going to practice this spring. You know, when you talk to Dallas and he wants to play and practice right now. Last year he had like the mentality of like, hey, you told me my foot's going to break. Let me just play because it's going to break anyway.
Yeah.
I like that mentality.
And like they put him in a cast last year because they were catching him like trying to run, like when no one was around, like trying to like run and be like, all right, I can definitely do this. And they were like, hey man, stop running.
Yeah.
Your foot's broken. Stop running. He's like, yeah, I feel okay.
That was my son in the fall.
Yeah.
I swear, so like doing backflips. Like, hey, bro, it's broken for real. I may not feel like it, but
so there's some of that with Dallas. It too, like he was ready to go last year so much, and then breaks his foot like first week of fall camp, and you're like, all right, you're gonna be out for a month, and then comes back and really only gets only gets 4 games before the foot breaks and he needs surgery. So like he's ready to go, and I think you're going through gauntlet and you're going through this offseason program. And it flares up, and they're like, hey, we also kind of like a Jaden Butler. Hey, even though we have a smaller sample size, we know what we're going to get. Just put a boot on it. Don't worry about it. And I think the boot is on it. So like
so he doesn't.
So he's not doing stuff. Last year when he had his cast on, if a receiver dropped a ball, you had to run sprints after practice. And I'm talking to Dallas, who's on like the little scooter with his cast. And he's like, oh, hold on. And then he like scoots off to go like scoot the sprints that the other receivers are running. I'm like, what's wrong with this kid? I'm like, what are we doing? But that's just Dallas. So like, I don't know. I don't know that he'll play much. I don't know that if you do play and you do end up needing surgery, like you have plenty of time before fall camp.
Right.
But it's like, hey, maybe we can avoid surgery and let it just heal naturally.
Yeah. Did he have? Didn't he just have surgery on?
He had surgery during the season,
and it's still flaring up. It's just from the surgery. He's just not 100% yet.
Yeah, I think he's not 100% yet. Okay. Probably coming back from it too quickly. Like he's just like super athletic. He's just a very enthusiastic kid, wildly talented.
Yeah,
but like he came to the office. Yeah,
I need him 100% healthy, bro. Like
it's hard to cage a wild horse,
Free the horses. Shout out to Mark.
It's been Corey's mantra for about a decade.
Yes, man. You got to free the horses, bro.
One thing I can tell you, not going to be the same offense. I think they understand like what the tight end room is.
Thank you,
what
Nick.
The tight end room is.
That's huge news. No, I appreciate that.
No, if Buster brings Billy's offense to the field,
but like I haven't seen a single 2 tight end set. Not a single time has there been more than 1 tight end on the field outside of individual drills.
Who's looking good in that room though?
In the tight end room. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Like that
I mean, that's tough, right? I mean, you're not returning much.
That room's going to
take 4 transfers.
Yeah, that room's going to take. Like, imagine that room's going to take another transfer portal class or 2 or maybe 1 to get.
Let's put Hezzy out there, man.
I mean, that's
big. I think
what
bro.
You need. I think what you need to do really is just go and get the top 15 paid offensive tackles in the NFL and get the top 15 paid tight ends.
And talk to them
and just show. You don't have to say anything. Just present him. Hey, this is what the money looks like in the NFL.
Which one you look like? No, just ask him that too. Which one you think look like you?
He's got great hands. That's awesome. But I think they're going to make it clear to him. Watching the way that practice.
I bet the Pouncey's can catch.
They're going to look like he's going to lose 40 pounds if he wants to stay in the tight end room. Minimum. So it's like you can lose 40 pounds, 50 pounds, and stay in the tight end room. Or we can flip you. You can play tackle.
Is what's my man's name? Forgetting his name right now.
Amir.
Is Amir looking good in the pass game? Not so good in pass blocking, run blocking. Like, what's his whole story?
I mean, he's not a pass blocker, run blocker. They're not. It doesn't even seem like they're not. They're throwing to him a little bit, but there's nothing like really explosive going to tight ends. I think they just know what they have with the room. And
are you seeing some like 4 tight end or 4 wide receiver sets out there?
A little bit. It's a lot of tight end, running back, 3 receivers. There's more. There's more 4 receivers certainly than 2 tight ends. But yeah. I mean, it's just like I like Lakota Dupree, but like I don't know that he hasn't done anything that's been like super explosive. Amir Jackson hadn't really done anything that's like super explosive. He had a really nice catch. They were doing like one-on-ones down in like the 10-yard line. So like he had a nice route, nice catch, like in that scenario. It's just I think the tight end. It's not a premier group. It's not a premier room right now.
Okay. So you're saying wide receivers looking good, maybe some good depth there. At least what you're seeing so far. Running back room, I like who we got. Montgomery Pryor. I like Duke Clark as well. And then did Byron Lewis transfer? Is he still there?
No, he's still there.
He's still there,
but he's just buried down. Yeah. And then we still have what seems to be kind of a 50-50 with Philo and Trammell. Quarterback.
It's 100% split even. Like if Tuesday Trammell is with and even now when they're doing the 11-on-11 when they're doing team run, if Trammell gets the 1s first and then Philo's with the 2s, they run back an extra segment where then Philo's with the 1s. So like even when they're doing team runs, both guys are getting a full portion of practice with the team when they do 11-on-11. Like it's to me, like I know we talked a little bit about like, oh, well, it was going to be Aaron or social media was talking about it. It's going to be Philo because Philo was with Buster at Georgia Tech.
Sure.
I think they both look good. What I've told somebody is from seeing where Trammell was when he got here, because he was coming off the ACL surgery. Yep. You're young. You're probably still swimming in the playbook. Seeing where he's come from this time last year, because he had just gotten to campus, to where he is now, just like a totally different player.
I mean, that ball that he throws looks effortless too.
Yeah,
I'm not going to compare him to, the quarterback from 2006, but it looks somewhat similar in the way his motion and how fast it comes out and just kind of how smooth the spiral looks. He looks like he's a very good passer. I'm not there. I'm also not a quarterback coach. I, don't always know what I'm looking at, but from watching clips, it seems like he's got that piece of it down, certainly learning the offense and, being able to make the plays when it really matters is going to be important. But the way that he throws the ball certainly it's an attractive looking spiral. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. He's getting a little more vocal too. Philo's vocal. The one that I've noticed being more vocal the most is probably VB3. He's had potentially the best camp of anybody on the field, offense or defense.
Wow.
Like the Ricky Pearsall levels.
He's looking better than Singleton.
Yeah. VB3 is looking incredible. Like remember when people were posting and like Rudner was posting, we were posting like, hey, everything we're hearing is like Ricky Pearsall is uncoverable. Like VB3 is just a chef. Like anyone comes into the kitchen, they're getting cooked.
So you like me.
And yes. And he's like breaking the team down. He's making sure guys are staying after to catch their jugs. Like VB3 has completely stepped into a leadership role, both physically, like what he's doing, the way he's working, and now vocally, which I think is probably the next step for him because he's been what he is physically as a receiver, as a football player for a long time, but vocally now he's really stepping up.
There's a question in the chat about Jalen Lloyd, the transfer from Oklahoma State, speedster, didn't do much.
I got another receiver question after this.
Yeah. Anything on him?
Yeah, he's doing fine. He kind of like I said, like the transfers, like Jalen Lloyd was also on the other field. They're starting to like work their way more over. To me, and I love Aiden Mizell, love Will Mizell. To me, he's kind of got that same speed, but he's physically bigger. Like Aiden Mizell. There was a time last year where Tyler Miles was like yelling at him because it was one day that he was hurt. He was like, "You're hurt because you don't lift heavy," and that's like a thing with track guys. Like, "Hey, I don't want to lift heavy because I don't want to lose my speed." Like Jalen Lloyd's more built than that. He doesn't have the height that Aiden has, but yeah, he's made a couple plays. It's a deep room.
I like it.
I don't get that because sprinters still lift heavy. Some sprinters still lift heavy. I don't want to tell them how to be sprinters either.
Yeah. No, if you go back to like Justin Gatlin, if you go back to those 100-meter dashes, like those guys were all juiced.
Usain Bolt.
Those guys, when you watch them, like not to be, pause and everything, but if you look at those dudes' legs, those dudes are stacked, man. Pause again. So where if VB3, Singleton, and Wilson is your starting three. Who do you got on the outside? Like
VB3 is working inside. Singleton's been working inside and outside. Dallas is on the outside. Stockton's
that's why I like Mays to like challenge one of those guys for a spot. I just think we need a little bit more size.
Yeah,
this is me nitpicking with a very good room. We're gonna talk to Josh Pate about this room too, because he put it as a top 5 in the country. This is me nitpicking, but
he's got size, but like it doesn't really like stand out to you. Like we've done a couple things with him, like filming wise. So I've been like standing next to him, not in pads. He's just super clean on a football field. Like everything kind of looks easy. The way he cuts and breaks and catches and way he like gets off, like everything just looks like it comes kind of naturally and easy to him on the field in pads. He doesn't look like when you see Dallas Wilson, you're like, that's an alien. Like that's
he's bulky. Dallas is an absolute freak. I think Michael's every bit of 6'1.5", 6'2".
Yeah.
You look at, I think between the other two receivers, you like in real life, like 5'9", 5'10" guys.
That just hit.
But separation, all that really matters at the position. Let's keep it a being, right? It don't matter if you're 6'5" or 5'5", if I'm 5 yards ahead of you, it doesn't matter. So just separation matters the most, but just thinking, my
That's another
ideal
5'6" shout out. Marcus Davis, the outside receivers coach.
Receiver coach. For sure.
Yeah, that's something he like emphasizes is just getting off the line. Like, hey, you gotta go, you gotta create separation. That's something he, I think, did well at Auburn as a receiver.
I'm pretty sure that's Marcus identified May. I'm pretty sure he recruited him, in the high school ranks as a Palm Beach guy coming down here to be the ace recruiter. Just from what I was told, I ain't just saying this is some magically happened, but he already had some knowledge of the kid from the high school ranks and then also just following him as he was at Wake Forest. But yeah, we got 5-6-1 on the team. We should win the Natty, man.
All right. Well, with that, Josh Pate is in the green room, so we are going to do one quick ad read for our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. If you want a really cool cup like this, go visit GameTimeSidekicks.com. Going to keep your hot drinks hot, your cold drinks cold. Help a Florida Gator fan living in Knoxville, Tennessee. Great cups, great price. Use promo code Stadium15 to get 15% off.
These cups are underrated too. Like these little Timbles and regular cups. Yeah, bro. They're just overrated cups by these folks, man.
Perfect. Well, and with that,
tumbler.
You want a tumbler, Nick? We can get you a tumbler.
No, I said a little wine tumbler.
Oh, okay. We can do that. All right.
A little bit what this one's about, I think.
Joining us now.
It wasn't intended for it. That's what I made it for.
That's right. Joining us now is one of the most recognizable voices in college football. He's the host of the very popular Late Kick Show and a lead analyst for On 3. And with that, we welcome what I imagine is his biggest interview of the month of March, Josh Pate, to the show.
Yeah, your words. Basically, pull them out of my mouth. Your words, right in my intro.
Hey, switch it, Dan. You got me on the big screen.
Yeah.
I do.
How are we?
No, you're on the small screen. How are you, Josh?
I'm good, man. Motoring through March.
I tell you what. Well, Josh, we appreciate you you joining the show today. I guess with that, my first question for you is you seem to be quite high on John Summerall. I know today or the last couple of days you've spoken highly of Florida's roster. What is a fair year one standard for John Summerall and the Florida Gators?
So the very generic way to make it sound is be competitive. Not just on the field, recruiting in portal and stuff like that too. When I say be competitive, anytime a guy's in year one, there's this recognition of a couple things. Firstly, not every guy walks in the door inheriting the same situation. So, like, I think John walks in the door and inherits, all things considered, a pretty good situation. Not the most loaded roster in the world, but not a poverty roster by any stretch of the imagination. So it's plenty good enough to compete with, is what I would say. So if I were to watch John in his past stops, whether it was at Troy or whether it was at Tulane, that wasn't some operation where it took him 3 or 4 years to get it off the ground. It was pretty competitive pretty quick because he has been a guy so far in his head coaching career that when he walks in the door and he presses his thumb on a program, it reflects him pretty quickly. And so whether that manifests itself in some shocking upset of Georgia or whether they lose to Georgia by 8, being competitive is what I care about. And then that puts you in a bunch of one-possession games, and then you're either 10-2 or 6-6, depending on how you do in those one-possession games. But what I always want to do at the end of season one is I want to be saying, wow, we look better in late November than we did September. And also, man, I feel really good. I've got very, very little doubt from this point moving forward that we got our guy.
Sorry, do you think Florida is closer to where they want to be now compared to the end of Billy Napier's tenure or during the – I mean, you were pretty high on Billy Napier last year, as were most people for good reason to believe. But do you feel like with John Summerall, with his staff, the way that he attacked and the players he went in the portal, albeit not perfect, right? And that's hard for a first-year coach. But do you feel like Florida is potentially set up to be in a better situation with this setup than they were before? And I know hindsight's 20/20, but –
yeah, the hindsight part's hard for me because, like you said, and I don't even back off this, I thought Billy would win there. And
Same.
he just didn't enough to keep his job, but I thought he would. So then if I were someone watching the show right now, well, man, this guy thought Billy Napier was going to win there, so why should I listen to him on Summerall? Fair take, fair stance. So if you feel that way, I don't want to tell you turn off the show. We don't want you to do that. But I'm going to say, yeah, I will answer your question, yes. So here's my thinking on that. The entire reason I was high on Billy, I thought he was a good coach. And still to an extent, I think that. I don't think he forgot how the sport of football works. Probably he got a rung above where he belongs on the coaching ladder, maybe. And so you go back to JMU, guys probably going to go kill it at JMU. So with John and Golish, when they were at Tulane in South Florida, I looked at both those guys and thought it's not a matter of if, but when. And it turns out Golish's shot is Auburn and Summerall's shot is Florida. So the reason I was high on Napier was because repeatedly I'd go down there after being at Bama or being at Georgia or being at Ohio State, and I'd look around and say, man, it doesn't feel much different here than it does at those places. And as you guys well know, and as anybody listening or watching this show well knows, that wasn't always the case in the 2010s. They lagged behind in several critical areas. Well, they kind of don't anymore. And if there is a lag, so to speak, it's negligible compared to what it once was. So I thought to myself, A, if I think Billy's a good coach, and B, I'm seeing what I'm seeing here, it's got to be just a matter of time. So the B didn't pan out. The A part of all that stuff being there, that's still the case now, to where if I think John's the real deal, and I do, that's simple for me. That's just a math equation of 1 + 1 = 3. Which in college football makes sense. In the classroom, that gets you an F on your report card. So, yeah, it's a long-winded way of saying this. What did Urban Meyer used to always say? He would say the cumulative impact of incremental gains here and there. I kind of think that way about what John's impact at Florida could be.
What I wanted to ask you a question about.
Go ahead, Corey.
I wanted to ask about both coordinators, right? You have Buster Faulkner and you have Brad White. What do you expect out of both their first? This is Buster Faulkner's first time. Well, it's not his first time. He was at Georgia, but at Florida, what do you expect from him in the SEC, and also Brad White?
Buster, I'm extremely high on. I was actually going to ask you guys about Brad. Unprofessional to have the guests do that, but I'll get to Brad in a second. I was at Tech. Ironically, I'm about to go to Georgia Tech tomorrow, but I was at Georgia Tech last year and was sitting in Brent Key's office. And Brent Key he might as well be like running a PR firm for Buster Faulkner. That's how glowingly he was talking about him. And, Buster at that time took a big risk to go with Brent and to leave the comforts, so to speak, of Georgia and to go be the OC over there. And it worked out. Haynes King transfer in there had a lot to do with that. But also, Philo's down there with you guys now, and they were developing that kid there too. So if I'm going off of his former employer's recommendation, I'm sky high on what he can do. I know he's not a household name in the SEC. Like, that's okay. You're not until you are. But on the defensive side, that's where I'm still very much with a question mark above my head. That's where I'm still trying to feel that out. I was curious what the vibes had been like so far down there, early part of spring.
Well, what I do like about it, just on paper, is John Summerall is a defensive guy himself. So I don't think Brad would be, steering that ship alone. I think he would be maybe the play caller for sure. But I think a lot of just seeing John Summerall defense at Tulane and other stops, I like his style of defense and how aggressive he is. So I did like some things from Brad White while he was at Kentucky. There were some things I didn't like, but I just think overall the defense, the talent we got, and the head man being the defensive guy, I think we're going to have a really good defense.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
And what I've been seeing out there, Josh, is Florida doesn't have, I don't think, the personnel to run what Kentucky ran. And I don't see like square peg, round hole. And it's kind of like, all right, well, I want to run a 4-3, but we have Jaden Woods, and we're not going to make Jaden Woods put his hand in the ground and play a traditional strong side, defensive end. Well, they're kind of running things differently. I think violence and aggression is what they're preaching right now. So it'll be interesting to me to see like the recruiting classes and how the defense evolves. But I think it'll be a little bit different than what we've seen at Kentucky. And I mean, if you call a spade, Kentucky, with probably less talent than a lot of teams in the SEC, gave Dan Mullen, gave some great play callers fits defensively for a decade.
Yeah, you know what's funny? It's not directly correlated, but it kind of is correlated to what you were saying there. So Stoops ends up getting fired at Kentucky, and Sark goes and grabs him and brings him down to Texas. And I think, truthfully, I don't think most people even know that happened. If you're just kind of casually, working your way through the offseason.
No, he's in the same room with Muschamp. That's nuts.
Yeah, and here's what struck me about that. So if you watch Texas go up there last year, they gave Texas fits. Texas ended up pulling the thing out, but it was like a crowbar in the bicycle spokes all day. And so Sark's smart enough to say, well, if that guy's going to be fired, I want him in my building. But here's the other part. So I'd listen to Kirby all the time talk. He said this for several years. The team that gives them the biggest physical challenge is Kentucky, of all teams. And then I've watched Georgia just take it to Texas physically the last, 3 times now that they've played. And so I think Sark on multiple fronts looked at that and said, well, they gave us fits from a defensive perspective. And also they've got the toughness we haven't had against Georgia. I want that in my building. And to a somewhat similar extent, that's kind of what maybe you get with John. But that's not just John bringing in assistants. That's the John Summerall effect, period. Walking in your building, the way I always equate it, like if you're watching by week 4 this fall, it's kind of like if you drive your car every day, you know how sensitive the gas is. But if you go get a rental car, when you're pulling it out of the garage, you don't always know. I just experienced this an hour ago, which is why I bring it up. So you tap that gas and it just jolts you. That's kind of the effect that just inserting the right mentality. You're talking about the violence and the aggression piece. You're trying to accomplish that with a lot of the same players that you played with last year. And a lot of programs are trying to do that. It's just which one by week 4 are we watching? And hopefully in this case, Florida, where you're saying, man, I felt that jolt a little bit pulling out of the garage. That feels a little bit different than it used to.
I think you'll see it too if you get down to Florida. Like I liked Billy, like you did, but I don't know that you would have known if Florida won by 70 or lost by 70 because Billy's kind of just here. I won't be surprised.
You got to watch the bottle, Nick. You got to watch the bottle.
He's talking about opening the bottle after. I won't be surprised if the camera pans at some point this fall and John Summerall's bleeding from his forehead because he's headbutted somebody. Yeah. It's just and it kind of trickles down from the head man to the rest of the staff and just that energy and that intensity from every coach. And, when they break up into individual drills and seeing that at practice, I think just the intensity that John brings at 4:30 in the morning to the building, I think is just kind of trickling down to each room.
I just remembered something. So when he was at Tulane, this was it may have been last spring, I think. Yeah, it was last February. We went down there to do a sit down with him. We set it up in his office. So my producers there setting up cameras and stuff like that. A lot of these coaches, they've got like their show office that they bring all the recruits and the families and stuff through. Then the real office is behind the show office. And that's where all the grease boards are full of stuff you're not supposed to see. And you got game plans from 9 years ago and the binders and stuff like that. And he is just walking around talking with us. And he's got a baseball bat in his hand. And he's just doing the thing like a mob boss would do, where he just kind of wants you to know it's there. And every now and then, like he do the tap, do the tap on the hand. I have no idea why it's in there. Dude's not playing baseball in his life, but that was the scene.
If you come down to Gainesville, bring something because he's been here since December and the shelves are still empty. There is no show office. There is no show office. He's got like some Jordans up, but like he just keeps saying he doesn't have time to decorate.
Josh, let me ask you a question. You've traveled and you've met more college coaches than anybody probably in the United States has, and really sit down and get to know them, watch practice and everything else. How important is intensity of a coach versus some that are a little bit more quiet, or a little bit more reserved, the staff? Like, talk to me a little bit about like what you've seen out of coaches, like maybe what we see visually about, them on the sideline. Like we know Will Muschamp has a lot of energy, but we also know there's been some very successful coaches that are very cool, calm, and collected. What do you think? It doesn't have to be a correlation thing or a causation thing, but what do you kind of notice about intensity? Because that's what we've noticed, a huge difference, right? Billy Napier could put the person with the worst insomnia in the world to sleep in about 4 minutes in a press conference. John Summerall is the exact opposite. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's a really good question because I think it's one of the most overlooked pieces of hiring. And to me, one of the strengths that the best have is their ability to hire in a complementary fashion. So you are not looking to go duplicate yourself times 20 when you're trying to fill out that staff room. Quite the opposite. And so what I always find interesting is take the guys who are a little more docile on the surface and then go watch their practice. And some of them, I'm not saying it's going through the motions, but there's that lack of juice. You really don't feel like anyone could get hurt out here any given moment if things go wrong. But then you go to another practice and, Coach X, the head coach there, is pretty mild-mannered, at least when he talks to the media, pretty even-keeled. And yet it's live bullets flying when you're in a practice and they close that thing off to the media, especially when they flush everyone out of there. And you look around and say, boy, like the vibe out here is nothing like his vibe. Well, the reason is because he's filled his staff with, I say, non-like-minded people. They share the vision. In fact, the vision is what they're carrying out. And part of that vision is, I need you to be what I'm not in this compartment and that compartment and that compartment. And I think one of the blind spots, especially younger coaches can have, I'm not talking about John, I'm talking about in general, a lot of young coaches, they can define their critical factors and their traits and characteristics, and then they go look for just a whole bunch of that. And they end up having a building full of slightly lesser versions of themselves, and there are all these blind spots in the building. So I look, and that goes for the most intense guy in the world. Mario suffered with this for a little while down at Miami, in that, Mario Cristobal doesn't like for intensity, but there were some holes on his coaching staff. Now, I think to his immense credit, he did a really good job of circling the wagons and filling those holes, especially over the last recruiting cycle or the last hiring cycle. But if I'm Mario Cristobal or if I'm Billy Napier, we couldn't be any more polar opposite from an attitudinal perspective, but yet our mission is the same. We all got blind spots. Doesn't matter if you've coached for 30 years. Saban had blind spots. You got to fill your building with enough rear view mirrors that you got all your angles covered.
Yeah.
Josh, do you think this is going to be a learning curve type of year for John Summerall, or could he hit the ground running a little bit and go on the run? I love the receiver room. I love the offense. I think our defense is going to be solid. We are lacking some pieces, like Nick was saying earlier, the ideal way that Brad White want to run this thing. But I think we got the talent to, if we could catch, fire a little bit. But should we expect some type of learning curve from John Summerall this fall?
I would just default to expecting a learning curve because he's walking in this league as soon as this league decided to play 9 conference games too. So there are going to be a lot of guys that have a little less tread on their tires. They've been around a while that have a learning curve, I think, to a certain extent this year. The other part is, do they look different out of the gate first half of the season versus second half of the season? Are they the kind of outfit, in other words, that starts to scale and starts to surge late? Or do they peak around Halloween and then fade late? That's just information that you're gathering. You're gathering that as a staff, but as an observer or someone who covers the team or someone who roots for the team, you're watching that as well. So, look, I'd always be of that attitude. I'd always say, hey, we're going to take some lumps here. Hopefully we dish some out. But my goal, if I'm a season ticket holder, if I'm subscribing, if I'm investing financially or emotionally in the program, I'm trying to get to Christmas, and I'm trying to gather with my family around that dinner table and saying, all right, 2026, more good than bad, could have been better, but I could not feel better about 2027 and beyond. That's my goal. Anything above and beyond that, that's just a cherry on top of year one.
All right, so Josh just said Florida 17-0.
That's what I heard.
Nothing less. Nothing less. And if it's not that, pitchforks. It'll be interesting because, your first 9-game schedule, and you get that, goalish Summerall Bowl right away at Auburn, Florida. We haven't been to Auburn, I think, since 2012, 2011.
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long, man.
Yeah. Auburn's come to Gainesville once or twice, but the SEC kind of kicked the can down the road on scheduling for a while.
Georgia still hasn't played in College Station. Still have not played there.
Josh, I've been there 4 times.
Yeah,
I've been there 4 times.
I'm so tired of playing Texas A&M, man. I'll tell you what.
Eventually it'll happen at some point. But if you look at the schedule, Yeah. First off, Billy's probably, not happy that John gets to open with FAU and Campbell after years of Utah and Miami.
Yeah.
For Billy, but you kind of get, those
the USF,
those easy. Well, you get those easier like working games, but then it's at Auburn, Ole Miss, at Missouri. You kind of just jump right into it, and then it's just an onslaught. So it'll be interesting to see. I think a lot of it too is injury luck and how healthy do you stay during that gauntlet of an SEC schedule. But yeah, it will be interesting. It's the vibe is definitely different around the program than it has been.
That was the guarantee you were going to have. To me, I mean, you didn't need to know much about John Summerall other than just passively observing him from a distance to know we go 0-12 in year one. The lead up to year one is going to feel different. Hopefully, there's play on the field to back it up. But what the other thing you were talking about there is injury luck and the bounce of ball stuff. And everyone always thinks reflectively about that. They're looking in the mirror saying, I hope we have injury luck and we don't lose this and that. Well, of course, everyone feels that way. Here's the other thing I think about and why one of many reasons why this stuff is so unpredictable. You could stack up all you want to, the caliber of teams you think you're going to play. And yeah, maybe in September, teams are largely still what you thought they would be just because rosters hadn't had a chance to get that banged up. But you never know if two of your toughest games this year end up featuring teams that lose critical pieces. And what once looked like a hurdle that was, neck high is all of a sudden only waist high. And voila, you got yourself a win there that you penciled in as a loss. So that stuff works both ways. That's all I try and remember and try and tell myself before I get too hung up on, boy, so-and-so really needs to walk the tightrope injury-wise. Mm-hmm. Dude, there are not many teams in this country that are built to lose a quarterback right now. Very, very few of them.
That's facts.
This is probably the first time ever. Yeah. Josh, I want to ask you, for timing perspective, I want to get into a little bit about the state of college football right now. And between, what I know you intended to ask, and then there was a big college sports panel, football panel that gathered in Washington, D.C. a couple of Fridays ago, which was an interesting list of people, which, I'm not 100% sure any of them, many of them even knew what college football was. But with that, do you think the changes are going to happen at the SEC Big Ten level, at the NCAA level, at the congressional level? Like, there's obviously a lot that all these schools are trying to figure out, and everybody's just finger pointing at who's responsible for fixing it. How do you ultimately think some big change actually happens in college football?
Oh, is that what they're doing? Are people just finger playing? Crazy.
It's been happening 50 years.
Here's where I think it's going to go. So the answer to a certain degree is yes on everything you asked.
Okay.
Which is just like a very broad way of saying everyone's got to have some accountability here. But I've grown not to expect that. So here's where I think it's going to go, and this will happen pretty quick. This will happen over the next month and a half. It has to because of certain calendars and whatnot. They've tried to push the SCORE Act for a while, which is people who have done a piss poor job of running their own affairs, trying to get Congress to bail them out and trying to make make laws where they can make rules and they can enforce them. And for obvious reasons, you got people looking at that saying, wait, so you screwed your world up. You don't really want to make any discernible changes. You just want us to help you out. No, that's a no-go. You're not getting bipartisan agreement on that. So then there's this other side that says, wait, what if we overhaul and amend the Sports Broadcasting Act where all of these conferences can pool their media rights and negotiate them just like the NFL's been doing forever. And that would create a financial windfall, which, by the way, it absolutely would. I've read all the white paper pushback. It absolutely would create that. And what if that money ended up falling into the coffers, not just of the big few, but legally, so you don't have to worry about whether trickle-down economics actually works. Legally, we make mechanisms where it has to fall down to the second-tier, third-tier conferences, also the non-revenue generating sports. More money ends up in players' pockets. Well, all of a sudden, if you guys merge those two concepts, then maybe you do have us on board to give you the protections that you want. So what I think they ought to do, and what I have a pretty good feeling they will do, is try and merge those concepts. If that means one bill that merges those two, so be it. That's what I do. But I haven't spent a day in Congress. And so if you get that done, even though people would tell you otherwise, I think you'd have enough bipartisan support to get something across the finish line. And if that happens, then all of a sudden it falls into the laps of the conferences, because nothing about any of those proposals mandates that you guys have to renegotiate your media rights. It's just you have the option to do it now. But see, here's the difference. When all the other boxes have been checked and then ball's back in your court, it's not going to reflect very favorably on you if all the work's been done and you say, nah, we don't really like this, because even though we would make more money on this, in the aggregate, we may have to relinquish a little bit of the total pie chart of power that we have enjoyed. And that's really a non-negotiable for us. Well, I mean, that you're free to make that your opinion. You just better make sure all your member institutions are on board with that. And they used to be. And I'm not quite sure that consensus is there the way it once was.
It's as you get closer to it, like the CSC right now has no power because the conferences won't sign to give them power. And the ACC is not going to do it until the SEC does. But you know, the SEC is not going to do it until the Big Ten does. And the Big Ten is not going to do it. And everyone wants to be like, yes, yeah, this is great. We should do that. It'll hold it accountable. It'll fix things. I'm not going to be the first.
Yeah, it's like they wake up and they text their group text every morning. Hey, we're not doing this today, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Good. Go to brunch.
Do you think there's going to be some pushback? You know, and I'm thinking, I don't know if it's collective bargaining, unionization, or whatever. I mean, the SCORE Act, from the way that I understand, and that's pretty rudimentary understanding in reading through a couple weeks ago, was, do you think that there's going to be pushback from the player perspective, that it seems like, again, we're protecting colleges, we're protecting conferences over players, potential caps and potential limitations to what players are going to be able to do, from antitrust, from, you know, potential rev cap? You know, do you ever see that, I mean, coming to a head to stall this out? Or
there won't be nearly as much pushback from players themselves as there will be from players advocacy groups, if you will. But that doesn't mean it's not legitimate. But I'm answering the question the exact way you answered it for a reason. Because I've noticed that the pushback has been like 10-1 people representing players as opposed to players themselves, and with good reason. Because I don't think you'll ever have a more wide open landscape in the future of this sport for a player than they have right now. So there's not a whole lot of incentive for players to want anything to change. Now, for the overall greater good of the sport, things kind of need to change. But here's my pushback, not to you, but to anyone who says, if we get that, then we can't have collective bargaining. Why not? Why can't that be baked into the concepts that we just talked about? To me, it would be very penny wise, pound foolish to look at 11 holes in the dam and take our 10 fingers and plug them and say, all right, job's done. Well, the job's not done. So finish the job. Like, if you're really going to overhaul something, overhaul it in a way where you're not in a courtroom again in 2 years.
Yeah. I like that take. I love that take, because there's a lot to be negotiated and figured out on the player side for sure. You know, I know a lot of people talk about just from the institution side and trying to clean up transfer portal and a lot of the nonsense, but I think it's some surety and, you know, a lot of just health benefits, a lot of things on the player side that I think could be negotiated and fixed, you know, because you're going to eventually ask these guys not to be jumping in the portal so quick. I think there's some guardrails coming in that capacity. I think scholarships aren't guaranteed, you know, and these kids bounce around to a lot of different schools. So how many years could they possibly put in to be vetted to some type of insurance and healthcare when this game is done for them? Like, I think those type of conversations got to be had too from the players' perspective.
You know what I always wondered? I always wondered this. So Corey, let's say you walk in and you have been elected the player rep, and you're across the table from me, and we're trying to iron out a deal here. If we're trying to make sure there's appeasement from all angles, I've always thought from a revenue share structure perspective, I would rather build a revenue share structure where you're just de-incentivized to move around a whole lot, rather than trying to enforce these archaic rules that you can't. What if you knew you 2x'd your earnings as a sophomore, and then 4x'd it, and then 8x'd it if you're at the same program? And then you build in your exceptions if your coach gets fired and all that stuff. Right. But I never told you a single time there you can't leave whenever you want to. You're free to do it. You just know if you commit to a place and stay there for 4 years, there is a massive payday waiting for you. at the end of the table. And that's something folks listen to. And at some point, you got to meet in the middle a little bit and say, that makes a lot of sense. Everyone kind of gets a version of what they want there.
I can't wait for my first 32X player to go.
They got to invite you to the White House next time, bro.
Well,
it's like I'm sticking around 6 years.
Got to bring that blueprint. Did you trademark that?
Not yet. You can have that. Not that.
Right,
I'm just looking to fix things. I don't care who gets the credit.
I seen the tenderism guy, so I figured I'd go trademark something too, man. What's up? What you about to say, Nick?
Yeah, that's crazy. I think the pitfall there is that like not everyone goes in the portal because they wanted to leave. There's a lot of, hey, don't know if you saw our recruiting class, but I think it'd be in your best interest to get out of here. And then that kid would have, a legal argument to be like, hey, I wanted my 32X. They didn't want to give me my 32X.
So that's where hey, I got no problem. And I know we got a million rabbit holes we could go down here, but I got no problem. So if I shoot Corey that, he shoots me right back. All right, well, then are you willing to create a process? Like in pro sports, there's an arbitration process. So in the college version of that, are we willing to be really on the record with the status of my scholarship as a player? I got no problem with that. You know what? I think a lot of coaches run their mouths about what they do and don't advocate for it. Well, there's a chance to sort of put your signature where your mouth is. A lot of you say you want structure. A lot of you say you want that. All right, well, a lot of you say you hate all the movement. Well, how about some concessions here? Why don't you lift the curtain a little bit on your roster practices?
It's easier to talk out of both sides of your mouth, though, than to actually do that.
Yes, there's a lot of money in that, as it turns out.
It's easier to talk like that than to actually make that change.
Is there going to be any? I only got like a couple more questions, but is there going to be any movement or any challenging of like? There's no second transfer portal window, right? Are some people maybe going to challenge that and try to transfer? I know there's some smoke about that.
Almost certainly, yes. Almost certainly. I'm just telling you. Where was I at? It wasn't too long ago. I was around quite a few. It was at the Broyles Award. I'll tell you where it was. It was at the Broyles Award, and there's a lot of coaches there that are up for the award, but there are a lot of coaches just in town. A lot of assistant coaches, a lot of player personnel types. I mean, I couldn't find someone who told me they don't expect that to be challenged. And they had already started to go through the process of scouting players, and the whole thought there is no, they're not going to officially enter the portal. They'll just withdraw from school, and then they'll just show up here in the fall, because if you can get enrolled, then you can get in school. And is the NCAA really going to have the legal grounds to tell you can't? So I'd be shocked if that didn't happen. And it may be 1 and then 10 and then 50. I don't know how big the wave would be, but yeah, it's certainly going to get tested.
Josh, how much longer until we're expanding the playoff?
5 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, I've been very outspoken on that. I happen to think that 12 worked fine. But first off, I was never an expand the playoff guy. But when we expanded it, I was like, can we go to 6 or 8? No, we're going to go to 12. Oh, okay. Is that it? No, that's not it, actually. We're not going to put any kind of mechanism on that stops it. We'll just expand it indefinitely whenever we want. So at the end of last year, this is where I really get into it with playoff expansion advocates. If you just think expanding the playoff is the best thing for the sport, okay, we just disagree. But if you look at me and you say Texas being left out, Vanderbilt being left out, or the year before, Alabama missing out, South Carolina, Ole Miss missing out, that's evidence that it needs to expand. That's not evidence of anything more than the playoff did its job. A playoff of the proper size should leave a few folks angry and a few fan bases pissed off. But it ought not be the committee or the playoff logo that has you angry. It ought to be that you lost a quarter of your games. Find a way to lose one fewer games. Is the goal to expand the playoff to the point where no one's mad anymore? How big does the playoff have to be? First off, and secondly,
120.
Yeah,
you're going to always have the pissed off team right before the cutoff line, right after the cutoff line, right? If we're the 33rd best team, but we've won our last 5 games, it's like, okay. So then you go to 64, right? And then it's the 65th team, right?
Yeah.
There's always
college basketball. You've got a bunch of teams. You've got 8 teams pissed off that they didn't make the college basketball tournament, and that's at 68 teams now because you've got the play-in games.
Yeah.
Yeah, people being mad is not evidence something is broken. sometimes people being mad is evidence something is working.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how negotiation.
People just gonna be mad regardless, man. That's just
Now I would like
life.
I would like more. I don't know how we do this because you've got like the New Year's Six bowls, those traditional bowls that want to keep their bowl. I would like the second round to be on campus. I think those first round games that are on campus are electric.
Yeah, fine with me.
And just like figure out what to do with the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl. Figure out what to do with those, but like a second round. Ohio State at Texas, or Ohio State here in Gainesville, and Oregon at Gainesville. Get Florida fans traveling to Eugene. That stuff would be incredible.
Yeah, I like that take too. Who do you have as who do you have? Which conference you have as top dog right now? Big Ten is on the roll. Are they have seen the SEC?
To me, that answer always comes down to how you define top dog, because I think there are two different answers right there. If you're looking at the tip of the iceberg, the Big Ten's tip is substantially taller, sharper, more impressive right now than the SEC's, at least the last couple of years. But when you get down to the 7, 8, 9, 10 spots in those leagues, I don't think the Big Ten totes the SEC's job in that category. Now, the pushback on that is I don't really care about the middle of the league, because those aren't the teams that are going to win the titles. The teams at the top are, which is where it comes back to personal preference. I don't really have a personal preference, actually. I'm fine with either argument. You want to argue about depth, SEC. You want to argue about quality at the top, Big Ten. I'm kind of fine either way on that. I just remember, I think a lot of this conversation is stupid, by the way, that people have about this, because I remember last year, it was the day after the semifinals when Miami beat Ole Miss. So I was doing Get Up, and Mike Greenberg asked me, all right, now that Ole Miss has been eliminated, it's guaranteed that the SEC is not in the national title game for another year. So his question, which in his fault, everybody was asking this question, does that prove the SEC's whatever? And I told him, if Ole Miss had won last night and they were in the title game, I don't think the status of the SEC would feel any different to me. That's a one-possession game. It's down to the wire. I feel the same way about coaches. Like, coaches will win or lose one game and people will act like it fundamentally changes who they are. Now, it changed their Wikipedia page a little bit, but they kind of are who they are. So the league is who it is. And to people who suggest otherwise, I'd ask you this. Let's say Texas goes undefeated this year, wire to wire, wins the national title. The next best team in the league is a 3-loss team. What did we get right there? We got an extreme outlier. We got like Texas Tech relative to the Big 12 last year in the SEC. Did that prove the SEC's back? Because I would argue that outcome, in a way, it makes Texas look great and it makes the SEC look even worse. So I don't know. I guess I just don't judge it as cosmetically as some other folks do.
Yeah, it's off-season blues, man. We got to have something to talk about. So, you know how it go.
Awesome. You guys got any more questions for Josh?
I got 1,000 questions, but I got to let him go.
You know my number.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, Josh, we appreciate you again for joining the program today. Everybody knows where to follow you, but go ahead and plug where they can read and listen to you.
Oh, just search my name. And if nothing comes up, Google me.
Google me.
Well, I don't care. I don't care. Yahoo search me. That's fine. Whatever you
yeah. Rock me.
Yeah, wherever you're hanging out, we'll probably
go, Josh Pate. All right. Well, Josh, we appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for joining the show. Maybe we can get you on before the season starts again.
I appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. Right. Thanks so much, Josh. All right, gentlemen, we're going to go straight into our next interview. Before we do that, let's give a quick shout out to our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Go visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale at checkout to get 20% off of your order. Nick is showing off the corduroy hat that he got. A lot of T-shirts, about 6 pages worth of designs for the University of Florida, and about 100 plus other schools that are out there. So go visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale, all one word. And if you are watching on X, if you could hit the re-X button, repost button, whatever we're calling it these days. And if you're on YouTube, if you can hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, we really appreciate it. We appreciate Josh Pate for joining us on the show. But with that, we welcome, I believe, our most frequent guest of all time from Florida Basketball Hour, our friend, Neil Blackmon. Neil.
My guy.
Welcome back to the program.
What's up, guys? How are you?
I'm just vibing, man.
Fantastic. I have the chance to potentially see you on Friday, which means
I know.
3 more sleeps, 4 more sleeps.
That's going to be good. I love the Josh Pate interview. It was great.
Well, appreciate
nice word, huh?
Good word, boys.
Yeah, man.
Neil, Gators, SEC champions,
Appreciate
regular
Neil.
season. Come back out, big third win against Kentucky in their first round. It was the third round of the SEC tournament. Finished the season 3-0 against Kentucky. Have we done that before?
Oh yeah, good question.
Well,
We've
gone
gone
3-0
against Kentucky.
Yes.
Okay, cool. No surprise these days,
The last time they did it, they went to the Final Four.
This is the house that Billy Donovan built, man.
Yeah.
Of course we've done it before.
That Mike White tried to light on fire, and Todd Golden's back with his tools rebuilding. And then so the Gators have a tough loss against Vanderbilt, a game that just they could not figure out. I don't know if it was defense. I mean, Vanderbilt was just shooting lights out in that game, and sometimes you're just going to lose because the other team is just playing really hot. But talk to us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. Like Vanderbilt didn't miss, right? Like the scout on Vanderbilt, it's not like Florida didn't do something that, like the Gators did what everybody does, and they're like, well, we're gonna try to take away their guards, and for the most part, they did. Like those guys went 3 of 10 from 3. So the question is like, all right, they got a bunch of dudes that can shoot, and do the other guys who all shoot about 25% from 3, do they make a bunch of shots more than they usually make, right? So if they make 1 out of 4, usually Florida's probably fine. They made 7 of 10. What are you going to do? And then the other thing was the one, like the big concerning thing, and that what I asked Todd about today was turnovers. Like Florida committed 33 turnovers in 2 games in Nashville. That's a lot. So that 24% of their possessions, they turn the ball over. And like, you don't have to be a data nerd to know that's bad, right? Like that's just, you cannot turn the ball over 1 out of every 4 times you have the ball and win very many games in March. And you certainly aren't going to beat a team like Vanderbilt who thrives in that situation where, Vanderbilt's one of the best fast break teams in the country, and they got 20 points in the first half off Florida turnovers. And, they led by 15 at halftime. Do the math there. It's not like they were lighting Florida's half-court defense up.
Are you concerned, like aberration? I mean, obviously, they played Vanderbilt in a close game earlier in the season. It's kind of, a game that kind of got the Gators back on track. Like, hey, these guys are, pretty good team again, are still, but give up 91 points in the first game, give up 94 points in the second game. Obviously, there's a chance that they can meet Vanderbilt in the Sweet 16, but like, do you think it's indicative of anything for the Gators right now in March, or just a fluky game?
I think the turnovers were 2 games, really 2.5.
Sure.
They turned it over a bunch in the second half at Rupp too. So they've gotten careless with the ball, and they can't do that, or else they can lose. They're not going to lose on Friday, but they could lose. They could lose Sunday if they're really careless with the ball, depending on who they play. So, is it fluky? Yeah, a little bit, in the sense that like one of the things this team did so well in the 12-game win streak was take care of the ball. But Alex Conant had 4 turnovers against Vanderbilt, and so he's had 9 games this year where he's had 4 or more turnovers. That seems like a ton. It's not, considering how much Florida plays through him, but Florida is 6-3 in the games where Condon has 4 turnovers or more. And you'd say, well, that's not that bad, except that it's like half of Florida's losses. So, like, when Condon does not have 4 turnovers or more, Florida's 21-3 or whatever they are, 21-4. I mean, the point is, if you're going to play throughout Condon, he has to make good decisions with the basketball. And then Xavier Lee, a lot of his turnovers are him trying to not make the simple play. How many times what's your favorite sport? If it's football, there's a coach saying, make the simple play. Like, why make things more complicated than they have to be? And, we saw some of that in Nashville too. Like Alex Condon throwing a lob alley-oop to Ruben Chenyolu when he has a layup. Like, just make the easy play. Thomas Houck, who almost always makes the right play, going for a tomahawk poster when like a layup ends a Kentucky run.
Yeah, but like the tomahawk poster is super cool.
Yeah, I mean the tomahawk poster.
NIL money, bro.
Hell yeah! I mean, right? That would have been. It would have been great.
Throw that joint down, bro. You might get. You never know who might call.
And I don't mind you doing that if you're on a 6-0 run yourself, but like you got to know time and circumstance. So when the other team is on a 6-0 run and you get a transition opportunity, you don't need the poster right there. You need 2 points.
No, that's facts.
You know?
Is there any such thing as a good loss, like heading into the tournament? I know I asked this last year, but we ended up winning the tournament. Could this be a good little, opportunity for Todd to clean some things up, before we get upset?
I mean, Todd didn't admit it. He wasn't like, hey, man, I'm glad we lost, but he gave more of a Billy Donovan answer today. It was like, I think he felt like he could refocus them in a way. And he mentioned, he's like, look, we've had some wins in our last 4 games where we won, but we did some stuff we shouldn't do. And I think getting their attention. Hey, look, you keep doing the stuff that we told you not to do when we're winning, and you can in fact lose, should get their focus. So I think there's some value in it. And I mean, we're going to find out because the teams that they may play on Sunday. Like I said, I mean, Iowa is certainly capable of beating them, and Clemson can make them play for 40 minutes, which, I think this team, they'd love to go down to Tampa in front of the home crowd and just blow everybody out, but that might not be in the cards Sunday.
I was getting that vibe for a little bit when we was on that street. I was just like, well, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
It might be a cakewalk, but we got some reality this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
There's probably not much to discuss about Lehigh and Prairie View A&M. I mean, is there a team that Florida would rather play? Or, I mean, I know that they were teams 67 and 68 in the tournament. So,
yeah, I mean, I'd probably rather play Prairie View because they can't shoot at all. And they want to, like, make the game pretty frenetic and run up and down. And I just feel like if you don't shoot well and you're like, hey, I want Florida to go – I'm going to battle Florida on the glass because that's kind of like what they do, and you want to run with Florida, like you're just going to get killed. You're going to get killed. And so, yeah, I mean, Prairie View is the one where I don't even think there's a scenario where that gets dicey. Whereas Lehigh, like imagine the stereotype of sort of low major, mid major team that makes a lot of shots and plays smart. Like that,
bunch of hardtail guys,
bunch of gym rats,
coaches, kids on the team,
locker room full,
sneaky athletic.
Yeah, their dads came to practice with Corey's, and with Corey's kids, and they're like, "Well, shucks, we're not trying to get him a Division I scholarship. We just want to." Those are the kids.
Elbows.
We just want them to learn the lessons of playing a team sport. I get it.
I just want his right arm under the ball when he shoots.
Yeah.
No, that's not the vibe, man. These rich guys around here think they can hoop. Some of them can hoop. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean,
some of them got little Johnny about 30 trainers, man. Little Johnny out there hooping.
Yeah,
fundamentally sound. What do you think about our backcourt? Can we shoot ourselves out of a bad game if we had to? If the front court is in foul trouble, struggling, if we get into some front court issues with fouls or anything like those struggles, can our backcourt shoot us out of a bad game?
That's a good question. I mean, I think they can. I think they're shooting 40% from 3 in the last month. So that tells me that they can make big shots if they need to make big shots. But Xavier Lee made a big shot against Kentucky, right? Mm-hmm. When they cut it to 5. But the guy, I mean, you guys know this. Like Urban Klavzar's got to be the guy that does it. He's got to be the dude that they get the key bucket from. And I think they got to run stuff for him. It's something that Eric Fawcett and I were talking about, this weekend. Like I think defensive have started to tag him and follow him around. They've started to really smother him, and Urban is better this year at putting the ball on the deck and going to the basket when that happens. But, like Urban is not – mid-range Urban is not what you necessarily want, right? So run plays for him. They used a handful of plays that you guys probably saw. We all saw them last year and for Walter Clayton Jr. to kind of get him open, especially after timeouts, out of bounds plays. Everybody remembers the one against Houston, which came right after a timeout, little like double stagger screen. They ran him around it, catch, shoot. I think the time has come to start running stuff for Urban because he's the guy that they have to get those buckets from.
Okay.
Got a quick release, but I remember Eric was doing a film breakdown with Condon, Condon and Eric. And Condon was like, yeah, Walt's wide open. I'm like, there's a guy 8 inches away from him. He's like, yeah, that's wide open for Walt. I don't know if you have that same as Urban. But yeah, I like that take. It's like, that's your guy to shoot threes. Mm-hmm. And I remember asking you this earlier. I was like, hey, Florida just plays so differently. Last year you had 3 guards who at any time, obviously Walt went on a generational run, but you have 3 guards who can help shoot you out of any deficit. And that's why when Florida's down 12 with 4 minutes left against Auburn, you're like, it's just a couple stops and a couple shots away from being back in it.
Yeah.
And this team, the 3-point shooting, it's been odd the way that it's gone up and how incrementally it's just gone up. It's like stonks.
Except the last 2 games.
Except the last 2 games, but month by month, we're talking about a team who was shooting 26% the first month of the season.
I know. I just saw them shoot this past weekend.
Dan's like, they're back.
Deja vu.
But you've got a guy in Urban who, is a version of that, or your version of, hey, if we need a guy to make a 3, we've got stuff that we have that a lot of this roster has run already that we need to maybe start running for Urban.
Yeah, no, they have to. I mean, he's and it's time to do it. Like they even against Vanderbilt, they had trouble just getting the ball in bounds some with what their normal inbound stuff was. Like a lot of contested inbounds passes where they end up 25 feet from the basket in pretty non-threatening positions. Like you'd much rather be running Urban around a screen and getting him a shot. And I mean, he, as good as Walt was, and obviously, first team All-American, incredible. Like Urban is a better shooter than Walt. He's not a better shot maker. But the percentages are pretty clear.
Last year, talking to the guys, I remember asking them during March last year, hey, who would win in a 3-point shooting contest? They were like All-Star game with 5 racks, or are we talking about in game who's doing it? I was like, All-Star game. They're like, oh, Urban. To a man. I think even Walt said Urban would.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and so you got to get him. And when he has shot quality is a analytics site that does they'll tell you if a look is unguarded, when it's open, and on just open threes, Urban is shooting 49.8%.
Jeez,
basically a coin flip.
That pretty much 1 out of 2. So run stuff to get him open. And I remember that film study you did, it's the same as Clayton in that sense. Remember, I think Condon said that's an open shot for Walt. And it was a fantastic contest by UConn.
Yeah.
But he was open for and Clavsar, it's the same thing. He doesn't need a lot of time to be open, but they've got to run stuff to get him that shot.
Yeah, I tried to get out of the way of Condon and Eric talking very high level basketball, and I remember having to butt in in what universe is that open? And Condon's like, oh, that's wide open for Walt.
That's wide open for Walt, right? Yeah.
I wanted to ask one thing because used to be on your side, unbiased journalist. Now on the other side, but something you put out, I think it was Saturday. How have you seen? Obviously, Kentucky, very proud fan base, but the reaction that they've had to going 0-3 this year against Florida, and then the way that their media has covered. I saw you almost have to kind of take a stance to be like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's been weird. They've gotten pretty goofy up there. I don't understand. If Florida fan, there was the play with J. Michael Sturdivant, right? Probably a catch. Florida they still have to score, if that happened. And and that's maybe even closer. And I don't think I saw any media takes where it was oh, Florida wins the game if they call that properly. It's just that was a series of, in fact, a couple media folks were like, if DJ sets his feet and throws a good ball, we don't even have this conversation.
Yeah. Florida's media is actually, if DJ throws a good ball, it's a touchdown, game's over. Not oh, J. Mike
correct
should have caught it. Yeah.
So I think goofy is really the right word, because if you play 120 minutes of basketball against somebody and you lead for 0 minutes and 0 seconds, it isn't the refs that made that a thing. It's not some anti-Kentucky agenda that made that a thing. And finally, that team is just better than you, and it's okay to say that part out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the Florida thing, what Todd Golden and his staff have done is ruin the long-standing Kentucky basketball narrative that Florida.
We the big dogs now.
Yeah,
go ahead
Florida,
and say it. We the big dogs now.
Florida was a one. Oh, they were a one-coach wonder. Oh,
no. We the big dogs now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Yeah. They weren't. And actually, they've been stealing your lunch money for a quarter century.
That's facts. That's fact, Ron and Tony.
I think it's tough for them because that's your thing. That's what you hang your hat on. As growing up in college, I had a friend who was on the baseball team in Greensboro who was a Kentucky fan. And I remember telling him, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna beat you this year," and then Florida would beat Kentucky in early mid-September. He'd be like, "All right, whatever. It's basketball season."
Yeah.
And now you're even losing. You're losing that. You're losing it's basketball season. Cool. Well, we'll see you in basketball season too.
Yeah. Now that Billy's gone, because Kentucky was putting hands and feet on us on the football field. We kind of flipped the script.
Elbows,
but John,
knees.
We don't have them this year, do we?
Yeah. Yeah.
No. We go to Kentucky this year.
Oh, we go to Kentucky. Okay.
Back to Kentucky. Yeah. Football.
Hmm?
Yeah, they go
Football
back to
plays
Kentucky.
at Kentucky November 14th.
But there you go. Yeah, Florida's the big dogs, man. And they are going to spin like it in the NIL space, and they're going to share it in the revenue share space. And as much as that, I think the coolest thing about all of it
basketball
is
school, fellas.
I think so.
But they are a football school that is committed to basketball winning. And they should be, because they got all they're the big dogs, right?
Neil.
I don't know, Neil. I think we might have it reversed. It's hard to argue.
It is.
Look, as an alum of the university,
same, but still,
I'm not going to believe. You will not get me to believe.
This is a family show, man. There's no rivals on here. We can say this is family conversation.
Yeah, I'm not going to believe in the Summerall thing until I have to believe in it, right? But I want to.
I'm almost ready to lie, man. Everybody coming on here, bro. I'm just hearing, receiver room kind of hyped up. I know we in football talk now, but I'm just hearing some good things, man.
Florida's a football school with a really great basketball program, and you're happy. But if you asked 1,000 Florida fans, hey,
I think we got the best basketball coach in the country.
But if I asked you, hey, Corey, you're only going to get one of these next year, a football national championship or a basketball national championship, you're not thinking twice.
Yeah, I want the football team to be.
What is more likely?
I think if you ask Kentucky fans that, they're like, oh, man, it's been a while since we got a basketball title. We want basketball. That's a different – Florida's not a basketball.
Yeah, I'm just talking about, say, your grandkids, right? What are they going to think in 20 years from now? Are we a basketball school or a football school?
Yeah, what does Harlan think about UF?
Definitely basketball
better
school.
Basketball, yeah.
And we hyped the
Hopefully not for
basketball
long.
season.
Hopefully not for long.
But I do think I think Corey's I think they have one of the 5 best coaches in the country.
Who you think may be better?
And maybe better than that, and maybe the best of those 5 that I'm thinking of. Danny Hurley, Dusty May, Todd Golden, John Shire, somebody else that I forgot.
Houston's coach?
I mean, Florida, Todd Golden's got a better better resume than Shire and Dusty May.
Well,
Himothy. Todd is Himothy, bro.
Yeah,
Top
Kelvin
dog.
Sampson. But the 5 I'm thinking of. The 5 I'm thinking of, Todd might be the most well-suited for this moment.
Yeah.
Like, build a roster with a salary cap. I mean, him and Jonathan Sapphire are pretty damn good at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, do you think Florida keeps their coaching staff going into next year? Do you think Sapphire or Carlin potentially get poached? Or
we winning a lot.
I don't think Sapphire is going to go anywhere. I think Carlin is safe now that Oklahoma said they're retaining Porter Moser, and UCF said I think UCF has announced that they'll retain Johnny Dawkins. So that eliminates kind of the 2 areas where I felt like they could lose Carlin, because Carlin's not going to go to a mid-major job. He's going to wait to get a Power 5 offer like Jerome Tang did. Obviously didn't go well for Jerome, but Jerome had earned the opportunity at Kansas State. He had earned the right to skip the mid-major thing.
Yeah, I remember wanting Jerome Tang.
They don't make Jerome's no more.
Glad it all worked out.
They don't make Jerome's anymore, man. That's
that name's
Jerome Thompson. That's testing things out for the future.
That's a throwback name right there, bro.
Yeah.
I know what type of parents he got. Earl.
I could see and I still think Dave Klatsky is like another year at Florida from being somebody a mid-major AD can sell to his fan base. So I think they're probably going to keep their staff.
That'd be great.
In place at least one more season.
Okay. You think we keep our front court? Nick, don't respond. I know that obviously Tommy Hawk is NBA bound.
Thomas.
I'm doing my part. Listen, I'm like, Tommy, your girlfriend's here.
I know, Nick, you're trying.
What if you get drafted to a landlocked state? There's really no fishing. I'm like, buddy, we can. I'm doing my best with Tommy.
I think
you get drafted and convince yourself that you want to live in Cleveland. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, look, I think Florida is gonna. I think they'll be in very good position with Ruben Chinyelu, depending on his sort of agent. And I think they've got conversations to finesse with Ruben's agent. That would be, that's a pretty, this is an educated take. I'll put it that way. And then on Kondo, like it's a business decision for him and his dad. And the right business decision is to come back to Florida, make $2.5 million and be an All-American. And then it doesn't matter if he gets a second NBA contract because he banked another $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Which is about what he would, it's more than he'd make on his first contract playing in the G League. So, you bet on yourself. But if I were to bet on retention,
$2.5 million bet ain't even a bet, my brother.
No, I mean, I think I think that, now maybe Alex with Houck gone, maybe he says, I've done all I can do, especially if they get back to the Final Four. Maybe he just wants to get on with it. I think that's a thing. But I would expect one of those front court pieces back. And then I would expect both the freshmen back. I think that is pretty close to done already. And then I think Boogie Flan will be back, that's a very good thing.
It'd be huge.
Yeah, that's a very good thing.
I did, Neil, and maybe you can provide context. I heard on the broadcast the other day that Florida's the first team or maybe the second team ever to have more than 40% offensive rebounds and more than 75% defensive rebounds. I know it's the only team in the KenPom era, but maybe a team in like 1947 did it, I heard.
They are. They're the first team since 1947.
Nice.
To do it. So that, crazy. They're the first team since they let black folks play to pull that off.
Wow.
Most of Kentucky's basketball championships pre-integration. So
half their banners from all white teams.
What are you expecting out of Lil Ingram next year?
Oh, he's going to be good. Those two freshmen are going to be really good. I know we saw a little more from CJ as a freshman, but they love Alex Lloyd. I mean, he can score. And he's a quiet kid, but he had to learn a new position, and that's hard. He played off the ball like all the time in high school because he's at a program where they had a good point guard all the time. And then on his AAU team, Caden Boozer was the point guard, so he was off the ball then. So like learning to play point guard, he had some kind of loud moments, but he's going to be awesome. I think both those kids have like all SEC ceilings. Not next year, but it's coming.
Neil, there's no chance we see Pat Adams, right? This tournament?
Not till the second weekend. So, three mini tournaments, no Pat in Tampa. That's good.
That's good. Why does he hate Todd Golden? Is he too cool for him? Or
I don't know. I didn't know he did.
Todd a cool cat, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Todd be talking grease on that sideline too.
Yeah,
he's gotten a lot more aggressive this season. I've noticed that.
Top dog. He know it. He know he top dog, bro. I love it. Yeah, bro. For sure. You need to get that John Summerall bat and just walk around the sideline with that joint.
Yeah, they gotta listen to him, but
That's right.
He should get what was that? Who's that linebacker? Alonzo Allen.
Oh yeah,
get him on the sideline. Get him out there.
Just as his bodyguard, as his get back guy.
Just have him sit next to Carlin Hartman.
Yeah. Oh man! Any more questions for Neil?
Call.
Any more questions for Neil before we let him go?
Nah, man. Make sure y'all go check out Florida Basketball Hour with my man Neil, man. Dope content, great insight, the best doing it in Gator basketball for sure.
Absolutely, by far.
Thanks, boys.
We appreciate you, Neil. You can read him on Saturday on South. You can follow him on X. Beyond just Florida Gators content, just an incredible basketball mind and an incredible writer too. So Neil, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll hopefully see you on Friday.
Thanks, boys. See you Friday.
See you, brother. Neil Blackmon.
If we had a producer, it would be cool to have like a running tally of guests, number of appearances.
I'm the producer, Nick.
Yeah, but lots to keep track of, especially retroactively. That's a lot of work to go back through 1,000 shows. How many times?
1,000? No,
not quite 1,000, but it would take some time.
That'd be a feat.
It would take some time. I feel like that's something that AI is built perfectly.
I was just about to say. You plug in the YouTube channel.
Was invented for this moment.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah.
AI's killing jobs, man. So, producer's one of them.
It's helped me write our YouTube descriptions.
Hey, y'all tap that. Yeah, that's a cheat code. You can't just give everybody that, Dan.
Yeah,
hey, y'all tap that like button, man. Comment, hang out with us. We appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us. I think we had like 1.3 on Twitter or X, whatever you call it these days. Last time I checked, man. So thanks for pulling up.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan's going to be joining us. His flight was delayed, probably dealing with weather and everything else. He's going to be joining us shortly. Nick, I want to get back to spring practice a bit because we didn't get to talk about the defense at all.
Well, I think we still I wanted to mention the offensive line. I think I was mentally I was shifting to offensive line. I think because offensive line is one of the positions I think that I went into looking at the most. I think right now you're looking at a two-man race at left tackle with Caden Jones, who we saw at right tackle last year, and then Emeka from Stanford.
That's the kid with the terrible PFF, right?
Yes. He's still 18 years old. He played college football last year at 17.
You related to Ryan Williams?
I don't know. No fingernail paint. I can tell you that. Really interesting kid. he was a he's doing like an internship at NASA. Obviously at Stanford, smart kid. Florida didn't even have the major. It's like astrophysicist, engineering, and I was just like, buddy, I can't spell any of the words.
You're gonna take family, youth, and community services, and you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
I get it.
He was like, yeah, he told me his major, and I was like,
teaching your future son.
He told me his major, and I was like, I don't know what that means.
Well, he's at NASA taking classes. Like, what's going on?
No,
here?
he's gonna have an internship with NASA. Like, that's the level of brains we're talking about.
He's smart. Big smart guy.
Very smart.
I like it.
I think part of the reason he's a little bit undersized. I'm not sure what they have him listed at. I can pull it up, but I think a big reason why Florida kind of stuck out is that Phil's been able to get guys who are a little bit undersized. I mean, 6'4", 311, but for tackle, I think you're probably maybe on the
6'6".
A little bit shorter side. If I had a chance to talk to him,
he's have long arms.
You
didn't measure him? No,
I didn't measure him. I'll bring a measuring tape next time. Next Tuesday, week from tomorrow.
Slacking, man. You gotta get it together.
So then I'll go left to right then. So then left guard, I think I think Emeka, in my opinion, probably outplaying Caden Jones. And I don't know if the loser of that battle just goes to right tackle. I really like Egan Boyer. Egan Boyer, speaking of arms, like Egan Boyer can probably scratch his kneecaps, without bending over. Really long arms, kind of looks the part, really tall, lean. I think he's looked good, in my opinion, at right tackle. So tackle will be interesting. I think right now, if they played Saturday, I think Emeka would be your starting left tackle. Najee Harris, I think, is pretty locked in at left guard. Jason Zandamela seems to be holding off more at center. And then right guard, it'll be interesting to see if it's Shanahan or if somebody else kind of steps up. Shanahan's kind of making a move. Mm-hmm. Rod's kind of there, but like Rod's also worked a little bit behind
Seminole.
Behind at left guard too. He's kind of been behind Najee at left guard.
Is it because he's not a transfer and they're slowly easing him in, or is this staff just not maybe high?
No, Rod.
Rod. No, he's talking about Rod Kearney.
Yeah, I'm talking about Kearney.
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought that Rod would have been in that scenario of
I know, but I'm thinking that maybe they thought he was transferring in. Maybe there was a mistake being made. I thought this was going to be a big year for Rod, or that they're giving it, some opportunity to some others. But I'm a little surprised here.
Yeah,
Phil likes him. Phil likes him, but
not enough.
Yeah.
Let me text Phil. Let's get him back on the show. He might be on spring.
He said anytime.
Hey.
So.
Yeah. It was just like when Urban said anytime. It's like, well, not anytime, but
yeah. Just figure of speech, fellas. Don't take me up on that offer.
I was just being nice. Please.
I was just being nice.
But yeah, I like Shanahan a lot. Again, judging a book by its cover, looks like my guy has been to some Slipknot concerts.
Okay.
That's kind of the biggest thing for me. The biggest takeaway from once the pads came on is, hey, how is left tackle shaking out? And it really seems to be one of those two guys. And then my next question would be, well, Egan Boyer is running with the ones at right tackle. Does he stay there, or is your plan to whoever is in our starting?
Well, Westfall's out too, right? Who
Westfall? Yeah.
Westfall.
Yeah. He's not in pads. Had another surgery, so he's got his left hand. He's had surgery on both hands, both wrists. So he's out. He's missed a lot of football. He's missed a lot of football with injuries. And you're going up against two guys now who, like, he's a smart kid, sharp kid, not going to, be slow mentally when you get back in there. But
that injury's tough because, like, you can't do any upper body. If you like hands and wrists, it's hard to develop your upper body, with those type of injuries.
In a position where you're doing a lot of pushing.
Right.
A lot of pushing.
So those are like huge injuries. Don't sound like they like ACL or nothing like that, but in the lineman world, it kind of is that detrimental.
Not that you'd ever want to tear an ACL, but I feel like an lineman would probably rather have a knee injury than like shoulder. Like the shoulder injuries are really hard for them to come back from. Hands,
like
obviously.
A boxer with fragile hands.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, which is good because they will say, TJ Dice was the first starting
the comment
guy.
reads, I heard Dice was in the mix for right
Sorry.
tackle.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
I forget that we're an audio medium.
We are. We get more listeners there than here.
When we're sitting here looking
Right.
at it. TJ Dice has looked good. He's been exclusively at right tackle with Egan Boyer. That's still to me. I remember. I know I was only talking to Egan. I want to know if you're just going to move whoever doesn't start left tackle, if you're going to move them to right, or if that's just going to be our backup left tackle.
Right.
And Dice is our starting right tackle, and Boyer's his backup, or vice versa. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you still got a long way to go in those
Yes,
trench battles.
certainly.
I would say, yeah. I think that there's gonna be a lot of shifting around them trying to gel. Like even with the Stanford kid at left tackle, I think they're gonna juggle some things around a little bit as players get more healthy, etc. But I did hear good things from Dice last year, but he got like an injury or something, right?
He
But
was hurt. He was hurt most of last year.
Yeah, but I think leading up, they had him as somebody that would contribute before the injury and all of that, before he got into camp. Just hearing good workout and just around the program things about Dice for sure last year. And they was expecting him to contribute a little bit in the trenches.
So we're pretty high, to an extent. I think that we know that there's some gaps in the defensive line. How are they holding up against the defensive line?
The defense, it's funny because I think the defense has not looked. The offense has looked ahead.
Really? That's surprising.
Yeah, the defense ends, and I don't know what the standard is for Brad White to make the defense run, but the defense runs after every practice, and maybe that's just like, hey, we're doing sprints after every practice, no matter what. I'm coming from a coaching staff. I'm coming from a coaching staff where it's like, hey, we're doing sprints because something went wrong. Because
all I know is if we were doing skates after practice, it's not because we were doing everything right.
Hey guys. Incredible. Third line. You were fantastic.
Well, I was a goalie, but
Get on the line now.
Yeah.
Sorry,
no, it's a good joke though. No, I mean it wasn't just a reminder of my position. Like I know what position you played, and I know what position Corey played. I just think it's important for the chemistry of the show.
But wrapping up the offensive line and the offense, I have a little bit less questions. It is interesting to see Phil. Phil's kind of super even keeled, just the way he runs individuals and runs practice. And I'm used to John Hevesy, which I think HBO wouldn't have publicized, would not have mic'd John Hevesy up.
Oh no, nobody should give him a mic. You don't need to.
Even when
the apps ask you if you want to access the mic, I'm pretty sure he says no every time. Nah, bro.
Can't imagine what some guy who doesn't know what he's looking for at Lowe's runs into John. Oh no! I was just looking for 2x4s. Sorry.
The guy that has to beep it out, ask for a raise after doing having C-section.
Oh my goodness!
This is enough. Who's the most? Who's animated on the offensive side, coaching wise? Because Summerall seems like he's in there.
Yeah,
that whole D-line coach room is juiced.
Yeah. On offense, McKissick is that. McKissick is that guy. I mean, you saw him. He's everything's freaking this, freaking that. Marcus Davis.
It's a big staff. I'll tell you that much.
It's after talking to them, I like, hey, a lot of Georgia, not University of Georgia, just a lot of Georgia guys.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Saban said "I'd" a lot, but
Saban said,
I don't like Georgia. Georgia boys around here don't be working out for me, man.
Saban's a big "I" guy.
I say, be fair but I don't like them Georgia boys, bro.
Trent McKnight, the inside receivers coach, he's loud out there. Yeah, the offensive staff, Marcus Davis, is just cool, calm, collected. He'll get a little bit loud, but
let me ask you, Nick.
We'll get rowdy down here in Palm Beach, man. We're pretty chill.
Yeah.
How's it working with Coach McKnight and Coach Davis in terms of the way that they split up how they're coaching wide receivers versus inside receivers? Like how often are they together versus how often are they separated?
Yeah, they're mostly together. Like that.
Okay, that's what I figured.
It's like it's like when you do individual groups, like the wide receivers stay together.
You think it's more of like a film thing, and like obviously they're going to collaborate on practice together, but do you think that that's where more of the separation is going to come in terms of separating the room, or is it just other eyeballs?
There's different responsibilities at all three positions, you know, and they're calling the slot the H, but different responsibility. Like the X has like 6 routes, and like the X is like, hey, that's it. You're all of your like option routes and combo and stuff that's on the other side. So like even if you think the two outside receivers, like, oh, that's very similar. Like they have different route trees and different responsibilities, and the H will have completely different route trees, responsibilities, and different motions. And so yeah, probably more of a film room on the field, on the practice field. The wide receivers like are sticking together.
Okay. You want to go defense real quick? Jordan's going to join us shortly here too.
I think John just seen how many, because there's no number on no cap on how many coaches you could put on the field, right? So instead of doing the Billy thing, you having just like executive trash dumper and like just random roles, you just like give me 2 receiver coaches, like 5 DB coaches. He's just playing around with just numbers. I like it though.
Same.
Nick, you're muted, I think.
Yeah, there's a Nichols coach who's not listed on the coaching roster. So,
it's like private school, man.
Yes.
Small. It's like you got a lot of support, bro. You know, I like.
Yeah, and like there's only one offensive line coach, but
bro, they have 797 staff members on this.
There's only one. There's only one offensive line coach. But like, also Phil's handling
Wilkins.
Yeah, day one. Yeah,
that's like on the last staff.
But also,
what a name.
But also like
day one.
What a name.
But also Quincy's out there, and like Quincy is with.
We lost Jerome, but we got day one. Who's in charge? We lost Jerome's, and now we got day ones, man. All right, man. I'm sorry, man. You was getting into some good stuff, Nick. I just had to do that.
Yeah, so like Phil, like there's only one offensive line coach, but Phil's got a bunch of assistants, and like they will break up the offensive line to left side versus right side, tackles versus guards when they're doing individual drills. It's not like Phil's got 30 guys that he's trying to coach by himself. Like they've college football staffs are bigger, and the individual position coaches that you guys know have more help of names that like you don't know, guys who are trying to get their experience, make their LinkedIn look pretty, and become a position coach down the line.
Who thought that is the D-line room the more animated room as far as coaches? I don't know all those dudes, but it's usually they're like physically getting in the trenches with the players. It's a juiced up bunch.
Yeah, I mean anywhere that G is, anywhere that Chapman is going to be one of the rooms that has the most juice.
Hold on, Nick, real quick. A lot of people have asked about Mike Peterson. His new role is Director of Alumni Relations. So a lot of people are wondering if he's stuck around, who's there. Anyway, go ahead about Gerald Chapman.
Yeah, and Mike P's out at practice, but he's not like coaching. So like Vernell Brown, VB2, that was kind of his role, almost like an alumni liaison. Like when he's getting guys in who were around the program a lot. Like
I saw Fred Johnson was there a couple days ago.
Yeah, I saw the ring in person.
Bring that 561 around, man. You got to get it around, man. It's good energy.
As impressive as the ring looked on our show in person, it's just silly.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. Fred
said he wear that joint too. He said, "I don't leave it in the case."
It didn't like Fred. I imagine Fred, large human, certainly bigger hands than a normal person. The ring still looks ridiculous on like Fred's gigantic bear paws. Like it's just a gaudy piece of jewelry. But yeah, Fred was there. Elijah Conliffe was at practice. Do you remember that name?
No.
Number 93. Elijah Conliffe, defensive lineman.
Who?
I mean, hold on.
You don't even know.
Yeah,
you just met him this weekend.
I remember this guy.
You just met him.
90s?
No, you tell me what year before without the roster, bro. Tell me what year. You just met this guy. You didn't know who that was.
I did not just meet him. He was here from 2017 to 19.
Oh, I remember him.
What's his name again?
Elijah Conliffe. I remember that.
Got me beat.
Shout out to him.
Kush was big between 17 and 19, so I probably missed it.
Where he transferred?
Oh, that guy. Okay. Now I remember he transferred in, right?
I don't know where from.
Yeah, he definitely transferred in. I remember that guy now.
No,
he was either JUCO or he transferred in with something like that, right? No?
It doesn't look like it.
I think it doesn't look like he's there, but I thought he did. But yeah. Also, shout out to him. Great shape. Like lost a ton of weight. Sexy? I mean, no.
Big great name for a show. You think he looks sexy?
You think he looks sexy?
He was pretty high, bro.
Well, it's just a guy who used to weigh like 320 pounds, who now like probably
how many beers, Nick?
Like weighs 180, 190. How many beers is crazy?
Oh man.
Yeah, shout out to Elijah Conlon. I completely forgot, man. And obviously, like, not a
no disrespect.
illustrious career. Yeah, not no disrespect at all. So defensive line.
Yeah, defensive line I think is a work in progress because you got guys like Emmanuel, Mason Clinton, DK Kalu. Like the interior is a bunch of guys who are new. You're looking at, I think, Jeremiah McLeod's looks really good. He's not all the lights are on, which you like.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear right there.
But like, yeah, aggressive.
What a guy.
They said aggressive. He was like, already been had that. And then the one that I want to see more of is Jalen Wiggins.
Same.
Not really flashing a lot. I don't know kind of like where he's fitting in inside because I think he was a defensive end. I'm not sure if they're going to try him at end or tackle or kind of where he's fitting in. LJ McCray looks ready. He's someone who I think I mentioned is kind of like foaming at the mouth just to play football just because of the injuries he's had. So I think the defensive line looks good.
LJ making some noise?
Yeah.
He's not. He's running with the twos right now. He's not really with the jacks. He's with defensive ends. So they've got him like on the other side. If he was starting, it would be like Woods, tackle, and then McCray.
So how many times they moved this spot so far? I know it's two different staffs, but how many times he's changed position so far?
I think it's just back and forth between either your hand in the dirt versus hand up, but he's always been on the edge. I don't know that. Actually, no, they were moving him inside the tackle last year. Napier's staff, weren't they?
They were.
So then that would be, I think.
Yes, third. He's played 3 positions on the defensive line, and obviously the 4th he's too small for. So,
yeah, I mean,
how's Joseph and Bocci doing?
Good. I think he's got like a little calf injury now. I think people will see that when they get out to practice. The worry again with calves, we talked about it ad nauseum with DJ last year, is that you try to play through a calf injury and you pop your Achilles, and all of a sudden the calf strain turns into you're out for a year. Yeah. But it happened, at a good time in terms of, hey, no practice for 8 days. You're going on spring break. Don't be doing low man wins on Panama Beach. Don't be doing wind sprints on the beach at spring break. So good time
for the NIL bread now. Boy, spring break don't hit like it used to. Some of the boys be in some wild countries. I'm like, oh yeah, they ain't at Panama City no more.
Yeah.
They're in Bora Bora instead.
Oh yeah, like,
not gonna put
boy in Fiji, man.
not gonna put the name out there, but one of our guys out in Hawaii living his
good for him.
His best life. Living his best life.
You never know how long you have or how much further that money's going to go. Go enjoy it now.
Let me go outside real quick. Cormani looks good. One that's standing out to me as a guy who I didn't see a ton of last year, spring or fall. Ben Hanks. Ben Hanks is getting his hands on the ball.
Four hands on the ball.
Of course, we're at the point where it's like, if I say Ben Hanks got an interception, well, who threw it? But like Ben Hanks is getting work. So there you are. Ben Hanks is getting like reps with the ones on the other side of Cormani and holding his own. Now, like also getting got because you're going up against Micah Mays and you're going up against Eric Singleton. Last Thursday, Eric Singleton cooked. I don't think anyone covered Eric Singleton. Catching balls like 40 yards downfield.
Love to hear it.
And Vernell's looking better, by the way.
VB3?
That's what you said.
VB3 looks fantastic,
Yeah, add Dallas Wilson in there, and then all of a sudden, we didn't even ask Josh about Gators wide receiver group being top 5.
He had already hyped it, man. So I was just trying to see if he's going to give me more lies. That's why I asked him. Like, how rational should I be, bro?
Yeah.
Linebacker looks really good, especially considering that Miles Graham's not playing. I really like Aaron Childs. I think Aaron Childs is taking a step up.
Okay. Good to hear.
And then,
I want to ask you, Nick, KJ Ford. I know Corey.
KJ, here's
a hype account for KJ Ford.
Yeah, I got him on him watch for sure.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody and they mentioned KJ, and I was like, yeah, he's a good player. And they said we have to get him ready to play, like, and it wasn't in the sense of like, I guess it was kind of like, he's going to play, so we have to make sure that he's ready to play. Like, I think he might end up being the backup behind Jaden Woods. Like, he might be
100%
right behind Jaden Woods.
So he's going to pass Kofi Asari, and I mean, not that Kofi might not play, but
already has.
Hey, I don't think Kofi's even like bad. It's just KJ is, as far as like natural pass rushing ability, I think he brings something to the table nobody else in that room can.
Looks a little weird. Not him, the number 14. 14 looks a little weird coming off the edge.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan. Capture that. Capture it, Dan. Did you miss that, Corey?
Stop drawing attention to it. Daylight savings time brings some elite sunsets. And I don't have long in here anymore, boys.
Oh, did we find out?
No, we'll talk about it another time. But yeah.
What's the address?
What's the address?
Yeah, KJ Ford, he's looked great. And I think Jaden Woods is doing a good job. Jaden Woods, like I've mentioned it so many times, when practice ends, Jaden Woods has at least 30 to 45 more minutes, like already planned out for himself after practice. And KJ is just like following along. And I think Jaden Woods is kind of, I don't know if it's on purpose or if KJ on his own is just being like, hey, that guy was really good. Let me just like do whatever he does. Yeah. But the two of them, and it's not just the two of them. Kofi will be over there. But like the edge room stays after. And I think everyone, Jaden Woods, David Reese, everyone in that room is like, hey, KJ Ford's going to have to play, and we need to make sure he's ready to play in 26.
That's awesome. And I'm sorry, I interrupted you talking about linebackers. I know obviously Miles Graham, Aaron Childs, Jaden Robinson, the guys you get back this year. Ty Jackson, the guy that Billy Napier said it's the best film he's ever watched. And then Miles Johnson, the sophomore that was in the same class. And then Malik Morris, who I don't probably expect to see a ton this year. But what are we seeing in that room?
I think Ty Jackson's pretty far behind. I think right now without Miles Graham in, it's 8 Aaron Childs and 29 Jaden Robinson. Miles Johnson, I think, is right now running with the 2s with Ty Jackson, but I think even Ty might even drop down past Miles Johnson, who the staff really likes. Okay. Jaden Robinson, I like him. Looks good. I've just been more impressed with Aaron Childs. Without Miles Graham, Aaron Childs has kind of taken over that room, and when they're on the field, taking that over. But yeah, him and Miles Graham and Aaron Childs, that's an intimidating inside linebacker group an intimidating inside linebacker room. Another one who, Aaron Childs, after talking to him, super intelligent, super well-mannered. If you only saw him on the football field, you're like, that's a bad person. Like that's a man with bad intentions. Off the field, really nice guy. On the field, I wouldn't say a crossword to him.
Love it.
What do you think about safety room right now, man?
Yeah.
Safety, I think it's Bryce Thornton, and then Allen's the one that's really getting the first team reps. Now, I don't know if that will stay, if it's going to be DJ Coleman or Cam Dooley or who takes that other role, but Bryce Thornton has, from the way I see the reps and the way that he's playing, is kind of taking a starter role in my mind. Like almost for like, all right, write it in Sharpie and stop looking at it because that's what it's going to be. The next spot I think is open. So right now it's Allen getting those reps. And then Purder, the freshman, or is he a transfer?
Who? I'm sorry?
Porter? I don't know how you say it.
Transfer.
It's number 30.
Definitely.
Number 30. Oh, my
I
computer
remember
is
many
being
Porters
slow.
in the recruiting class.
Dylan Purder.
Purder. Oh, no.
Freshman.
He's a
Freshman from
yeah.
Booker T in Alabama. He's getting a ton of like nickel reps with the first team, with the second team. I remember somebody on our site was like, you haven't mentioned him at all. And I'm like, oh, well, let me look out for him. And then he's just getting like first team, getting a ton of reps inside at nickel. But yeah, that'll still shake out. I think.
Who's Kanye again? I heard Kanye was doing pretty good at the nickel as well. Is he getting somewhere?
Yeah, 20 and 30 are getting most of the looks at nickel. Yeah, Kanye, I didn't know where they would play him. Would it be nickel or safety or both? But I think he'll probably end up just settling at nickel with Purder. And then you're talking about a kid who's a junior versus a freshman.
I remember Purder now. He's the guy that he had a long-standing relationship with John Summerall at Tulane, but was going to go to LSU. They flipped him.
Oh.
That's my bad. I mean, when you bring in 56 new people, hard to remember everybody, but I'm glad he's getting out there. We got some guys in our safety room with dreads, I heard. So
A lot of dreads in the
a lot of dreads.
Man, just tackle somebody. Because I don't think Allen got no dreads, but Allen, he trying to put somebody through the ground. Every time
Is Alfonso Allen? I'm sorry, I missed it, Nick. I was trying to find some more stuff
First
about
team.
Purder. First team?
First team. It's him and Bryce Thornton.
That's
you know
great.
what? No dreads, but also no neck. And I like a safety with no neck.
Real gangster, man. He coming down here with some intentions. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then special teams, Nick. How are we going to look?
It's gonna be the 2 lane kids.
Yeah.
Not gonna like talk bad about the kicking, but like
it's not the same. There's no blooming onions this year.
Alec Clark is Australian.
Oh, okay,
He
perfect.
will be the punter.
All right,
Alec
perfect.
Clark is your punter. He's Australian.
Keep that spray and pop pipeline open.
I am not creative enough to come up with something else.
Yeah.
Oh, started his career at Marshall.
Yeah, been a little bit all over.
Oh, Miller Feely is also from Australia, Nick. You got two Aussies.
Nick look uneasy talking about special teams right now.
I know. I don't like it.
He looks uncomfortable,
I mean,
man.
look at him.
No. So
You usually glow in this segment, bro. You look uneasy, man.
I didn't like one of the drills. They were doing live punt blocking drills, and I'm just like I'm ready for like a knee to snap, an ankle to snap. I'm just like this is great. I haven't seen this since Will Muschamp was here, and Will Muschamp did not care about special teams. The kicking competition is going like it's not a competition.
Right.
Patrick Durkin is kicking really well. The other kid's kicking. I think one of us could probably put up the same percentage. So like it's just not it's not really a competition.
Yo.
Yeah, I think it'll be Patrick and Alec, the 2 lane transfers.
But Patrick was
I'm nervous.
Durkin's been good. Durkin's been good. I've seen Durkin go out to
just put him in bubble wrap.
No, I've seen Durkin make out to 60, like strong leg.
off a tee or off a hole?
No, off the ground.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I think the field goal game with Patrick will be fine. Alec, they do a lot of punt stuff, but I haven't really it's hard. Like from talking to Tommy Doman, he was like, yeah, we don't really punt fully outdoors, and like you can't punt fully when you're indoors. They're not doing like a full punt return. So like the punters will punt, but like you're also trying to get reps in. So like the punt returners, there's a coach next to him. So the punter will punt it and it goes wherever it goes. And then the coach is kind of like just tosses a ball up. So you're not at the risk of like, oh, the punter missed 2 and now our 6-minute period is messed up because the punter mishit 2. If that makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense, but
because you're working on punt coverage and punt return.
Yeah, no, I get it. But
the punter goes out and works on his own.
I guess I don't love not live punting, but I also am not trying to squeeze in everything into a 2-hour window or however long it is. So yeah, I can understand from a time perspective. Question here about Jerome McCoy. Jerome.
I haven't. He hasn't flashed. I mean, I've been to all 5 practices. Just hasn't flashed.
Yeah, 10 more to go. Spring game is April 11th. The boys are on spring break right now. They will be back next week, and we will have a more comprehensive update. In 2 episodes from now. That brings us to the end of the show. Baseball swept South Carolina this week. Got back on track. They beat Florida State this week too, right? That was last week.
Yep. Beat Florida State Tuesday and then swept South Carolina on the weekend.
All right, perfect. Gators are up to 17th, I believe, in the college baseball rankings, or the one that I saw today. But other than that, let's wrap up our show. One time for our friends over at Alumni Hall, go visit alumnihall.com or go visit them in Gainesville, Florida, the largest selection of Florida Gators wear that you're going to find online or in Gainesville. Go visit alumnihall.com or go visit them in Gainesville, right off of Archer Road. All right, boys, we'll see you at the same corner, same time next week.
Let's do it.
See you guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends. Thanks to Josh Pate. Thanks to Neil Blackmon for joining today, and we'll see you guys next week.